Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of Crusader Kings. And third time's the charm, apparently. So, yeah, hopefully this works. Um, so where have I been for the last couple of days? Well, I've got to say I've had some really bad issues when it comes to actually being able to get these episodes out. And yeah, it's been really difficult actually. Um, I kind of didn't really think that it was going to be this difficult. Because first of all, my old pair of headphones sort of broke on me, and therefore it was kind of really difficult to record with them. And then I had to get these new Turtle Beaches, which are the 330s, I believe, which are not the best in when it comes to headsets. Obviously, I got them in the sale, which they do the job, and they allow me to do what I need to do, essentially. So that's where I've been for the last couple of days. And I hope you guys can bear with me, and thank you very much for being so patient. You guys are always very awesome when it comes to that sort of thing. And I will make sure that there are sort of labels and whatnot available to make you guys aware that the levels may be off, and therefore this could potentially blow your ears off. But I don't think it will touch wood, because I've been messing around with the levels all morning, and making sure that things are watchable. So back to the sort of game or the week. Um, Essentially, what's been happening? Well, the most important event in the gaming calendar has just happened, which we all know is E3, and I was fairly impressed with Sony's presentation. I didn't actually sort of stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning and to watch that particular show, because I'm no longer sort of insane enough to do that. I did that last year, and I was dead tired the next day. So I thought better of it this year, to be perfectly honest with you. Um, so yeah, I read the press clippings really, and the most impressive thing I've sort of gleaned from that particular conference was well, the Last Guardian was announced, which had put on the back burner, um, seemingly from the beginning of the PS3 cycle. So that was like 8 years ago. So God knows what they've been doing with it. Um, but they've had to basically redo some bits and pieces now for the PS4. And I've got to say, I'm now like really looking forward to that game. That game is probably my most anticipated game in terms of what's coming out in the foreseeable future. Apart from the big names, obviously, like the big AAA's maybe. Um, but yeah, I was really impressed, and obviously Shamu was announced to the world as like they literally went crazy over this Kickstarter event, which reached its goal in a seemingly ridiculous time. Uh, but I've got many friends that are jumping up and down with joy at the moment. Literally, like, oh my god, like, it's that kind of moment for them. Excuse me. Excuse me again. As you can probably tell, I've still got the cold that has been afflicting me for the last couple of weeks. Or, well, not weeks, but the past week at least. Yeah, that's still with me. So Shamu, what do I think about it? A, I think like it's about time. Like Sega, for some bizarre reason, didn't really want to see the completion of this particular franchise, even though it's widely regarded and probably would make them a loss of money if they went to do it by themselves. But no, it had to be Sony to basically say to the creator, we'll back you on this as long as you can get enough money from the fans, which is probably a very clever business decision because they're effectively taking all the risk when it comes to the production costs. But as it is the fans that are going to mainly enjoy this game, why the hell not? Um, I did play the game when I was a wee boy. Back in the late 90s, on the Sega Dreamcast around a friend's house. But that's the extent of my experience with the game. I did think at the time that this game was amazing and I wanted a Dreamcast, but that was the only particular game on the Dreamcast that I really absolutely desperately wanted. And because the PS3, PS2 was coming out a year later, essentially, I decided to hold on for that. But I really wish I did but get the game and get the Dreamcast, because the Dreamcast was an amazing system. And I was sad to see it go, because I was actually planning to buy the system when they announced that they were no longer going to or be at least phasing out the system, and I was sad by that news, really. Um, and then obviously the frickin' Xbox appeared and took the world by storm. But as they say, the rest is history and whatnot. So back to this game. What am I doing? Essentially nothing at this moment, guys. It's got to be said. I was dithering about when it came to this particular episode until much later, when there is actually a conflict that occurs. The reason for this seemingly sort of procrastination was because of the simple fact of our current character being so old that I kind of feel that I couldn't really do anything with the game until the character died, obviously, and his son took over. But I will tell you now that that doesn't happen, at least in this episode. Instead, some other shit happens, and I'll let you watch and I'll comment to the best of my ability as to what is going on. So essentially, my liege here has gone to Waterloo Treble Crown Authority, which he duly loses in a second or two. And the reason for this narration over this episode was because again I was having some terrible audio issues with with my current headphones, and it wasn't a good time by all, really. So that's why I'm doing the narration, because the content was not up to my exacting standards, which is not very high apparently, according to some of my video histories, or my video archive, I should say. But I'm looking to change that, because I want this channel to be a place where, you know, people can sort of sit and um, watch their sort of favorite games with not crap audio, basically, essentially, because that's kind of what's been happening recently. Because I haven't been able to um, you know, cancel out some of the bad sort of background noises of late. So I'm trying to find sort of periods in time where I'm kind of alone and have like ample recording time to do what I need to do. And as for my current setup, I am looking to change it, but the system that I want to sorry for the noise there. The system that I want to um, sort of have in terms of my gaming setup is around £2,000 in terms of you know, the hardware that I will be getting. I will be getting that fairly soon, but not quite yet. Obviously, I need to save money up for that to happen. And as we all know, you know, some new hardware will be in the works, and I'll be like, oh, I just want to add that to my shopping list. Thank you very much, but like, bye. Because obviously I'm getting more attention in terms of my channel, and I want to sort of transition into a more professional sort of setup. That'll take a little bit more time. I have been buying sort of equipment incrementally over time, but the next sort of big purchase for me is a brand new sort of microphone to provide that crisp and clear voice that you are now hearing. And I don't know why I'm particularly talking about my setup, but you know, oh well. But yeah, I'm planning to get a sort of Yeti, a blue Yeti, which is not a cheap microphone, but you know, I will be happy when I actually get it. Because this is the thing, this YouTube gig is not a cheap gig, it's fairly expensive. And when you're not with a multi-channel network, it becomes even more difficult, because obviously you can't monetize all your gaming content through of the content ID system, and you know, essentially potentially getting whacked with a strike. But enough of that. That's trivial. Back to the game, where an awful lot is not happening. So essentially, I get more gold from my sons, and they're like, "Here, father, like here's some gold that you might need," and I go, "Thank you very much. I will use that in sort of renovating my lands." So yeah, that's in terms of what I'm planning to do in terms of my channel in the future. I don't know when I do get my new sort of rig. Do you guys want to see it? Do you guys want to know what I'm sort of currently sort of operating with, uh, as opposed to what I'm going to get. I don't know, guys. Let me know. You guys essentially govern this channel. I just put out content that I know that I believe I should say that you guys will like. Obviously, this Crusader Kings series was in reaction to my complete ineptitude when it came to forex strategy games, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Apparently, it's been a long time since Civilization 4 and all that good stuff, and I feel all at sea when it comes to those particular franchises. Now, I did say that I was going to produce another video, but when I feel that I can produce videos at a sort of okay sort of level in terms of skill. At the moment, that skill level is not there. And it won't be there for a while because I haven't picked up the game for a while, because it's one of those games that you need to absolutely want to play at the time, and if you don't do that way, you will end up sort of pulling out your hair, going, "What the hell is going on?" Which is why I took a step back from the series, because I was all at sea, and personally, when it's like that, you kind of it takes the fun out of the particular game, because you know yourself that you're not overly confident with the game, and then that translates over in the video, which I didn't really want to have that happen in terms of in terms of watchability, because it becomes essentially uh, uh, um, a slog, and people know that you're not enjoying the game, as and will find some other place to find that enjoyment. So that's essentially why there hasn't been any more sort of Galactic Civilizations video. As I said to you in a previous video, if you want to see that content, then please go and see Richie. Because he knows the game and whatnot. But I've already plugged him in in a previous video, so I'm not going to do that again because it can get a bit repetitive. But but yes, I did feel all at sea, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I kind of feel like I need to play that game on my own before giving you guys, strategies and whatnot to beat the game. And unfortunately, like when it comes to games like that, you need to be grabbed within within the first couple of hours. Otherwise, it's not going to sort of keep you invested for long periods of time. Obviously, oh dear me. Obviously, that particular franchise is widely regarded, and there is a huge following. So if it could just be me. I just feel like not I don't feel invested enough at the moment to go and want to play that game and feel like I'm having massive amounts of funds and of fun. I speak correctly, Kyle. Um, Fun, and as you can tell, we've managed to get a claim here on the outer island of the Orkney Islands, which I will duly use. So yeah, I kind of feel that the forex genre is certainly a genre that you you do need to put an entire day aside to essentially play one or two games, and you know that's how I used to play Civilization. You know, I used to play entire Saturdays on my laptop, and just enjoy taking that little civilization to from a sort of nomadic and caveman society to an ultra high tech kick-ass society. But I did find it funny when I don't know if you guys experienced this, when you had a high tech society like and your opponents were still rocking muskets and sail ships. Um, that was on sort of hard difficulty at the time. Obviously, it was patched fairly quickly because you know yeah. But I managed to get a lot of people in that into that franchise, and since then, in terms of enjoying the franchise or enjoying the wider genre in general, I've taken my leave, as it were. I don't mind grand strategy games like this because obviously you've got to implement a long term goal, and you can't complete it straight away. Obviously, in 4X games you can't do that. You can't do that. Otherwise, you'll be completely and utterly destroyed because you haven't been uh, you haven't been sort of slow enough to prepare, and that's essentially the most important thing to do is prepare. At the end of the day, if you don't prepare, you're gonna lose. Um, but with this particular game, I kind of feel the sort of goals are achieved a lot slower, and your ultimate design, as it were, does not take a form until you know a decade, maybe 2 decades in front of your current character, because you haven't been able to, or you've been able to build up the conditions to which your future generations can then enact or take a particular territory that you've been sort of preparing to take for decades. So that's kind of my opinion on sort of 4X and grand strategy games in general. I do also play Europa Universalis, but I have one caveat there. I haven't played the third game for. Oh dear, that's terrible. So I'm really sorry about that. If you did actually get some horrific sound come out of your headset or speakers. Um, yeah, I haven't played Europa Universalis in absolute years, and I was actually thinking about maybe um, picking it up in the sale. Um, but I probably won't just yet because again I've got a lot of things that I'm wanting to do in terms of I want to also take the channel in a slightly different direction, and you know, and that direction I haven't actually fully decided on yet. But I wanted to, or I had an idea rather, of having sort of maybe separate channel. I haven't decided yet on sort of disabled issues related to maybe gaming experiences, or just general the evolution of the gaming industry in relation to making it more accessible for disabled gamers. Because if you're not aware, the PS4 has recently had a patch, about 2 patches ago, I think it was, where it enabled certain accessibility options to be enabled, such as sort of large print and being able to assign certain buttons to certain sort of actions. So you could put essentially X as square, or X as triangle, or X as R1 and R1 as X, which is pretty awesome, I've got to say. It just shows that the big companies are now really recognizing the potential, or the needs of certain demographics, such as disabled gamers. And I've got to say, I'm really sort of impressed. Is that the correct word? With their foresight. Impressed with their foresight as to making that particular console more accessible, thus essentially increasing the potential market that or Sony is able to deliver games to. Fantastic move, and I commend them for it. But that's the general sort of ideas that I was having, is maybe having a separate or a series or a separate channel even to discuss those issues, and to make the disabled voice more clearer, because there are people out there that blog and who are disabled gamers, but none on YouTube that I'm aware of, and I was really interested if you guys think that's a good idea. I won't do it if you don't think it is, because at the end of the day, I do this for you guys. But yeah. Would you like me to do it in this sort of format, where I just talk about it casually over some gameplay? You decide. And I don't know about the disabled experience myself, because I don't actually own an Xbox One, but my brother does, and I'm really sorry about that, guys. I've still got my cold. But my experience is most poignant with PlayStation. So that's why I haven't really given you a cross section, really. But if I was to take this any further, I would obviously sort of cover both consoles and both companies. And we've won the day there, and we've got 2 territories under our belt, which is frankly awesome. Again, I'm really sorry about the spike there. And at this point, I was really trying to figure out who I could give that title to. I eventually settled on no one, which is a bit dumb, to be honest with you. Uh, See, this is the difficulty with like watching the video back, because you're not in the moment. You can't then react to what you're seeing on the screen as you would if you were playing it in the moment, sort of thing. Because when I originally played this particular section of the game, I was really pissed off about having to keep hold of the title and sort of take the risk, as it were, because I wanted to give the title to my son, my heir's son. And the reason why I'm not pronouncing their names is because I can't really see them that well on this small screen, because I'm actually running this in Premiere Elements at the moment, and it's sort of running the video at a lower resolution where I can't actually see the text that well. But as soon as it renders and stuff, it comes out in nice 1080p sort of resolution, so that's always nice. What am I doing here? I actually can't remember. And if you've done this narration about 3 or 4 times like I have, you would you would forget what you said in the previous narration, and if you've covered all the bits and pieces that you did originally, but that's neither here nor there, really. But I would be really interested as to to hear your opinions of what I've sort of come up with in terms of sort of doing a critique, as it were, on the major sort of console manufacturers and game developers, really, because at the end of the day, they need to make their games as accessible as possible to a wide variety of people, to make their games financially viable and profitable. So yeah, I will also kind of been doing sort of the same possible review, and that would obviously be very subjective, and you should always sort of be taking that into account, because my ability may not be the same as someone else's, so I would have to find some sort of criteria that apply to as many people as possible. Um, but obviously, bear that in mind if you guys want to see that. I'm just rubbing my nose without actually interfering with the mic, which is actually more difficult than you actually realise. Yeah, so I would have to find some sort of generic criteria, which I know everyone sort of can play games would be able to do something or do operations. By operations, I mean input certain, say like with a racing game, be able to hit the X button to accelerate or like steer. Uh, um, so in that way, it would be very sort of narrow, because obviously disability is very complex, and many people have many different abilities and disabilities, and therefore it's very hard to actually pinpoint a happy medium, as it were. But I will try my best. And again, I am just saying what I could do in terms of, could I speak to my liege, to talk about potentially gaining a duchy, but then I kind of realised that I couldn't, because it kind of happens spontaneously. At least when I first got the game, you know the which was when it first came out. Actually, the 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 liege would just sort of sometimes give you a duchy for apparently like liking you, and also like it's quite funny really, because I've been on the council of like of people, and they haven't actually bothered to give you like a duchy or like or something along them li- lines to sort of incentivize you to stay on the council. Because I've found that I needed to leave the council, because obviously I'm going to sometimes go to war with that particular person, and I don't really want to be in the same um, locale as the king. I know that's probably not got any bearing on whether like the spine master can kill me or not, but still, I don't like the principle of being in the same sort of vicinity as my liege that I'm about to go to war with over a particular territory. So yeah, I know this has been quite a random video, guys, and I appreciate that the people that have stuck around, you know, have done so through thick and thin, and this complete randomness of just me talking absolute rubbish about like you know, disabled sort of gaming and stuff like that, and I appreciate that, you know. And again, I'm really sorry that it's taken me so long to get this particular video out, and hopefully, if this video is watchable, I have found the sweet spot. Because at the moment I've got a little whisper going on in my ear, because obviously the sensitivity, but the previous try, the sensitivity was so loud that it was bloody spiking all the way up to the red zone, which is no good when it comes to narrating and stuff, because you could hear me spitting quite a lot into the microphone. Not literally spitting, but you know what I mean. Um, so yeah. And also, guys, if you would let me know on whether those ideas that I came up with are something that you want to see, then please do let me know, because I will then implement them. Sorry, but yeah. Wow, I didn't actually think it was going to be this long. Is it really 42 minutes? Oh my god. This is why you shouldn't do like videos of this length. It just doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And I really don't know what I'm doing here. Oh yes, I'm educating some children. And that's another thing, guys. I am actually going to do um, a sort of generic uh, half an hour episodes, because essentially, I think these 40-minute episodes are far too long, and I realise this now because it takes me ages to render them, and I could have done with splitting them up really into 20-minute chunks. But you live and learn, and I hope you've enjoyed, really, guys. And again, if you're new, then please subscribe and like and do all that good stuff. And it won't be as long as the last episode was until the next one. I will be picking up my production speed again, and thank you very much for watching. And you know what to do when it comes to liking and subscribing and commenting and all that lovely stuff. And I will see you next time. I have been Strategical Gamer. Bye bye for now.